What are some signs that you're unattractive? I don't think I'm especially unattractive, but I used to work with this woman who clearly thought I was. I remember once the topic of ugly people came up. I happened to be looking down and she reached out and pulled up my chin, looked into my eyes and said, "But we know is what's inside that counts." So I guess my answer is people making a point of playing up your personality and non-physical good qualities. When the only person who has ever called you handsome is a stripper. When people say you look like someone famous, and that famous person is not attractive. Two of the worst I got were Meatloaf, which ain't bad, The Dude Rocks, and Corey from Pawn Stars, which made me re-evaluate my life. Ask a child, they will tell you. One time in high school, these guys came up to me and a group of my friends of 5 girls. They asked us to introduce ourselves, and we started. Once he got to the girl beside me with 2 of us left to introduce, a guy said, "Y'all can stop here, we only need their names." Shattered my self-confidence. I uploaded a bowl of noodles to my Tinder profile and Tinder's algorithm determined it to be my best picture. Here you go. When you post a bikini pic and people congratulate you on your bravery. When drunk people sober up when you try to make a move on them. The opposite sex has never hit on you. If you ever tried to make a self-deprecating joke and everyone is visibly uncomfortable. When you've made it this deep into this post looking for signs. People just don't pay as much attention to you as other people. When you're going out with a group of friends and the opposite sex pays literally no attention to you. When you use Tinder for about a month, and it runs out of people to show you, and carries no matches. Meaning everyone in a 10-mile radius with Tinder looked at your pic and thought nope. Also believe me, I didn't set my standards too high. I'm done with Tinder. I'm not looking for advice or tips, I've been at this for 3 years and heard it all. I've decided to just delete the app and move on. Less a sign of unattractive than it is of being thoroughly average, but if other people seem to spontaneously forget that you exist the instant an attractive person enters the room, I'd say chances are that you're good looking enough to be an acceptable choice and to pay attention to normally, but not enough to compete with the obvious first choices. You tell yourself it's not you, everyone else just has bad taste. When you're joking around with a friend insulting each other and the friend calls you ugly, the rest of the group either jumps to your defense, gasps, or otherwise looks uncomfortable. Source: grew up somewhat ugly lol. 1. When someone gives an approving look to your good-looking friend, shifts their gaze to you, and their expression just drops. 2. You always get served last at the bar if the opposite sex is serving. Guys in high school made a list of their female classmates and ranked them by attractiveness. I expected to be at the bottom. But I wasn't even in it. When you're playing spin the bottle, and it lands on the hottest chick, but she says that if you try it she'll break the bottle and cut you with it, you notice that you're close to invisible. When compliments are based around your personality. When you're on an online dating site and everybody you message looks at your profile but never replies. When the passport-type photo you used for your college ID is put on and removed within a week for being inappropriate. This thread is half jokes and half depressing facts of life. I had a co-worker try to set me up with another co-worker. It got back around to me that this girl said, "You must not think very highly of me if you are trying to set me up with him." Holy shit, I never expected this comment to get so much attention. If you guys like rejection stories, I have tons more. Someone gave me gold. I don't know what that means exactly, but thank you. So, a little more backstory. This was almost a decade ago in a large workplace, a hospital. I read a few comments which suggested that maybe she didn't like me because of my personality, and I don't think this was the case because we didn't know each other. We worked in completely different departments. I worked in materials management and she was a barista in the coffee shop. We didn't know each other. The friend who tried to set us up was a CNA who knew us both individually. This friend spoke English as a second language and I firmly believe there was no malicious intent. When she told me the barista's response, my friend didn't quite understand it exactly and there was an intention to hurt my feelings. When you ask others for signs that you're unattractive to find out if you yourself are unattractive. Well, I accepted the fact that I'm not pretty when strangers wouldn't sit next to me on a subway unless absolutely necessary, which means Subway is full like a can of sardines. On your social media your profile picture isn't a picture of you. Extra points if it's a cartoon anime character. When your grandma tells you what a handsome man you are. When you look in the mirror and see that you are not attractive. When the attractive girl hugs every other guy but just says hello to you. It burns worse if the girl is your crush. When the girl sitting next to you in 6th grade Spanish literally turns away when the teacher tells you to work together. Then when she tells the teacher I don't want to work with him, the teacher looks at you and says you can do this assignment by yourself. When you can't keep a dildo stiff. Jesus credit to Kevin Bloody Wilson. I've always gone by if a person takes a second look at you you're either attractive or hideous. If they don't bother, you're not worth it. When incels don't think you owe them sex. When your best friend has you stand on top of your house and yell I'm ugly and I'm proud for the whole world to hear. Also, if no one's BFGF is ever even slightly jealous, suspicious of them hanging out with you. I get some people just don't get jealous, but if no one does, maybe you're just so ugly you're clearly not a threat. When you're introduced to a new group, how nice they treat you, particularly the pretty girls. If people are usually pretty cold, you're not an attractive person. Guys never talk to you. People who call you dude would like to have great anal sex with you. If you're cooking and it's the onion that cries, people tell you you're unattractive. Children cry when they see your face. When picking out a group picture, nobody cares if you turned out well. When you look out the window and get arrested for indecent exposure. When you're having a hypothetical conversation about dating or relationships and someone has to say not that I'd ever date you, or they can't even have the conversation because they have to make it really clear that they wouldn't date you, to the point you forget what dating relationship thing you were even talking about. It's really distracting because you don't want to date them and now you suddenly feel insulted for some reason. My mom had to tie a pork chop around my neck so the dogs would play with me. Being funny as shit to compensate for your looks. My friends tell me I'm the funniest guy they know. Ha ha ha. A mob with torches and pitchforks on the front lawn. Best sign that you're unattractive. You find this thread depressing. You look like Chris Pratt. Not Jurassic World Chris Pratt, but Parks and Rec Chris Pratt. Thanks for that one edit. Yeah, okay, Chris Pratt is cute. It's just like a great way to indirectly tell you you're big. When the person is trying on clothes and asks for opinions on what to wear and the response is, it doesn't much matter, anything will do. PPL. Averting eye contact and ignoring you. Your hands start to hurt when you are trying to masturbate. I'm not sure where I fall in the scale because I get mixed messages, but I used to be friends with a girl for a year and a half. I could make her smile and laugh every day, and have hour-long conversations. She knew I was into her, but she was in a relationship already. Eventually she dumped him and she sent me a snap saying guess who's single. I took the initiative because if that isn't the biggest hint ever, what is? I asked her out and she said yes. It took a month to set up the date. She stood me up. Haven't talked since. Nice. Really helps too when the last chick I asked out stood me up too. Everything was go that day and I said okay, so where do you want me to pick you up? My house, she said. She never told me where she lived before. Then 6 hours later she said oops, sorry, I slept through my alarm. Yeah, her 4:30 p.m. alarm. You know how you have a nap before telling someone where you live? And before that I got cheated on just after my GF made it official and told everyone. Haha, fun times. When there's only one seat left on the bus and it's next to you, yet the bus is full of people standing up. No matter how I look at it, it's you guys' fault I'm not popular. When you're all dolled up and no one hits on you, or even bothers to make eye contact. When you only have guy friends and the only girlfriends you have are you guy friends' girlfriends. Someone that I'd never met before told me I looked like a dead Elijah Wood. Macron sue Macron. If you're a guy and you've been told on multiple occasions you're being creepy, even when you're doing some innocuous, there's a good chance you're ugly. When you remember your achievements in life. Cries in the corner. While citing with a group of other girls working on a project for some uni class or another, I can't remember which. But anyway, a male classmate we know comes up to the table. Hello ladies. Hi, Kiwi. Edit spelling. Strangers of the opposite sex rarely, if ever, smile at you in passing. When girls keep asking, we're just friends, right? When you enter a room, children cry, adults scream out dear God. You go to a bar and no one talks to you. Being extremely overweight. I gave a 250-pound co-worker an orientation at a hospital once, and introduced her to the staff. You could see a bit of disgust on their face when they met her. Not to mention the self-deprecating jokes she kept saying about being a foodie and whatnot. It was 4 hours of cringe for me. Somebody asks you out on a date, and you immediately assume that they were speaking figuratively. Mirrors aren't signs, but they are quite telling. Bust. You have difficulty starting a relationship. Middle-aged women still say when they see you if you are older than 18 months old. When blind kids are scared of you. When you realize that in all of your friendship groups, you have been the duff. When they say oh, but you have such a bubbly personality. Fuck you bubbly, fuck you. In the high school yearbook I was the male half of the most unlikely couple with an attractive, popular girl. You can hear many Redditors' souls being crushed if you listen closely. This thread is going to be soul-crushing. My brother and I look a lot alike. I consider myself more physically attractive throughout my youth than my older brother. I'm taller, have all my hair, weighed a bit less, but he had the personality. His mantra was I'm pretty. He would tell girls how pretty he was, and because of the way he was I will never date a girl from Victoria out of fear of being Eskimo brothers with my actual brother. I on the other hand was secluded, terrified of the opposite sex and generally a coward for most of my youth and even a bit to this day. State of mind dictates how attractive you are. You could look like Jamie Lannister or Khal Drogo and it wouldn't mean a damn thing if you're not willing to let yourself feel attractive.